Hello everyone, I am Savitri Nagra, lecturer in Electrical and Electronics Department, Jain Polytechnic, Belgavi. I am handling the subject Industrial Drives and Control. In this subject, we are going to study Unit 6 Electric Traction. Contents Introduction, Requirements of Electric Traction, Advantages, Disadvantages, Different types of traction system, Speed time curve, Important terms. Introduction. The process of moving of any vehicle is called traction. If the electrical energy is used in this process is called electric traction. The system which use electrical power for traction system, that is for railways, tramway and trolleys, etc. The major application of electric traction is to transport men and material from one place to another place. The other kind of transporting activities are lift, conveyors, elevators, etc. And there is a wide variety of electric traction system around the world. Next we'll move on to requirements of electric traction. What all we require for electric traction is first point, the starting tractive effort should be high so as to have rapid acceleration. Tractive effort is nothing but the it is the force of moving any body. The wear on the track should be minimum. The equipment should be capable of withstanding large temporary loads so that the equipment should be carry very large loads. Speed control should be easy and it should carry overloads. These are the some examples used in electric traction system. Next we'll move on to advantages of electric traction. First one is high starting torque. High starting torque is because to achieve a longer acceleration, less maintenance cost so that less time consuming, free from smoke and fuel gases, hence used in underground and tube railways. So because it is having no smoke and gases, so that it is free from smoke and fuels, less vibration, cheapest method of traction, rapid acceleration and braking. Disadvantages of electric traction, it has highest capital cost. Here the capital cost is very high. Problem of supply failure, if any supply failure, then the train has to be or to be stopped there only. The electrically operated vehicles have to move on guided track only. Additional equipment is required for achieving electric braking and control. Now we'll different systems of traction. There are four systems of traction: direct steam engine drive, direct internal combustion engine drive, internal combustion engine electric drive, and one more is electric drive. First one is direct steam engine drive. This system is very extensively used for railway work. The motive force is supplied by a steam engine. The locomotive can only be put into a service for about 60% of its working day. The remainder of the time being spent in repairing for service and in maintenance overhaul. Next one is direct internal combustion engine drive. This type of drive is very common in road transport vehicles like trucks, bus, cars, etc. Through it is suitable for road and light railway work. And next is internal combustion engine electric drive. An internal combustion engine like a diesel engine is coupled to a DC generator and which supplies DC traction motors. And one more fourth one is electric drive. This is the most widely used and most important form of electric traction. Electric energy is supplied to the vehicle from a contact where suspended above the track or a from an additional rail laid alongside it. Next we'll move on to speed time curve. This is speed time curve. The speed time curve is nothing but time curve gives us speed of the train with respect to time and also gives information regarding the acceleration and retardation. The speed time curve gives the curves in a traction have significant importance. Energy required for motion of the vehicle can be determined from it. The speed time curve is nothing but the curve drawn between the speed in kilometer per hour and the time in minutes or seconds is called a speed time curve. It is a graph showing the variation of speed as a function of the time. Now we'll study analysis of speed time curve for an electric trains. This is the speed time curve and this y-axis is nothing but a speed in kilometer per hour or a meter per second, and this is a time in seconds. It consists of 5 periods. From 0 to 1 is nothing but a rheostat acceleration, and T1 to T2 is speed curve running, T2 to T3 pre-running period, T3 to T4 coasting period, and T4 to T5 is braking period. First we'll study what is the 0 to T1 period is nothing but acceleration during notching up period or a starting period. During this period, the starting resistance is very low so that the current is high. Therefore, the tractive effort are approximately constant. This speed of the accelerating period is called rheostat acceleration. Next, we'll study the T1 to T2 period is nothing but the acceleration on speed curve. At the point T1, the train continues to accelerate, the torque decreases with the increase in speed. This period is called speed curve running. Next, T2 to 3, T3, this period is nothing but a free running period. The train runs at a constant speed in this period. Next, T3 to T4, it is a coasting period. At the end of the free running period, the supply to the motor is cut off and the train is allowed to run under its own movement and the speed is gradually decreases. T4 to T5 is a braking period. At the end of the coasting period, the brakes are applied and the train is brought to a rest at the end of the run. So that how it works. Next we'll move on to speed time curve for a urban or a city services. In this, the distance between the two stations is near between 0.75 kilometer to 1 kilometer. Here is the, it consists of acceleration period, coasting period and braking period. In this period, the distance in this city urban service, there is no running period because the acceleration and retardation is very high so as to average high speed may be maintained and there will be no free running of the train as the distance between the two trains is very small. This is the speed time curve. Next, speed time curve of suburban service. Here the distance between the two station is 3 kilometer to 5 kilometer and same it is also consist of acceleration period, coasting period and braking period. The distance between the two station is longer because of longer coasting period than the city service. Speed time curve of main line service. The distance between the two station is more than 10 kilometer and it consists of rheostat acceleration, speed curve running, free running, coasting and braking. All the periods are present in this main line service. Here the stops are infrequent, free running period is long at a high speed and accelerating period is very small. Important terms used in traction are the crest or maximum speed. It is a maximum speed attained by a train during a run. And second one is average speed. It is the mean speed maintained by a train during a run. Scheduled speed. It is the ratio of distance between the stops and the total time taken, including time for stops to cover this distance. Thank you.